Ebushama ma odwena ma akwa ba emfa wo mbra Sedea Etea Nie adwumadi so ewo Adom TV so ye frem dache hene na ya o asante kai se dom de kisi ebu o ma hene kwabna asante ene yesi o hene sankrofo yi eno mbọ mechi dom ma daane da no mede adwumadi yi ebrewo medika aka kirewo mre bia mene Sidi Abubakar edi nkomo me ka kirewo se NDC Etea Nie bedi ekire from the polling station to regionals to constituency eba national ne ade after 2016 nupa bebe ka say o fail here as a youth organizer to sustain the NDC in power in 2016 election ya tete na so how true is that no ene ye ni no eba bedi nkomo ne ebisa ne say nkofo bebe na ye omotiti say Chief Baini Solomon Nkansa Joseph Yamin ene omo amaka the incumbent and also Eseko, but Sidi, Bibi Aboko.
Oh, Britain is fine.
Oh, okay. Sidi Abubakar wanting to come back to the party structures.
Well, if you observe in 2016, after our defeat, clearly we were the one who supervised the real reorganization after we lost power. And it took the leadership of the then National Organizer Kofi Adams, my good self. Let me just say that the full complement of the organization department for us to be able to put the party back on its feet.
And Mamidi can say a bit of difficulties, but this is the information we need to get from Ono Internet, Brofono Ayadoson. But Sidi, the question is, do you want to come back to the party structure?
Contesting, I'm coming back to the national headquarters. I've been there and I left, but I'm coming back.
At the end of the world, who say a deficiency, the organization sector of national executive now in China. What are the deficiencies?
Yeah, when you look at it, the aggressive nature of the NDC was missing completely in 2020. Take it or leave it.
Is it not because politics, we are growing, and so that aggressiveness is
no, it's not. It's not. When we say aggressiveness, you see, NDC that have the can-do spirit, the spirit. When I say aggressive spirit to get things done, that is what is missing. Not as in violence, unnecessary violence, and what have you. But sometimes, if the situation calls for that kind of unnecessary violence, it has to be given. But I'm not talking in general. There are many things. If you look at it, the NDC, we were talking about let's disband our vigilante groups, let's do this, let's do that. But the MPP are rather putting them together. Do you understand? If you observe, I think I've conducted some few interviews after we lost the 2016 election, prior to 2018 there, but I think one of the interviews, I think we had it on your sister station, GH1 with Nana B and Co. When they were talking about the banning of the vigilante group, I say, if I am in charge at that time, I wouldn't have Koto. Because when we were trying to get it disbanded, you say no. You hell no. You use them, and now when you see them, they now become an albatross on your neck. You are trying to say they should disband it because you know that you have already, let them infiltrate the security system. Okay? So you want to now use them against us. If you're not telling me, can you explain what happened in Tachimasaf? Can you explain to me? A professional military man or policeman would just shoot people like that. Can you explain to me? No, look at what happened in Iowa's West Wagon. You understand? These are people that we work together with. We know them and they know us. So if they have succeeded in pushing the people into the security system, they can tell you that disband because they know they can use them through the security system. And if you are fool, you go too. That is why I said we're not that aggressive. And so looking at it, and there were many things that we did not do. Because you see, I had opportunity of being at the center stage of operations during elections. And also I had opportunity in 2020 to sit and watch as events unfold. And I've seen the huge disparity, the huge gap that look, if we truly want to win 2024 elections, we can't go that way.
The 2016 elections, now we are youth organizers.
Yeah.
you lost that particular election.
Yes.
As at the time and now, not the aggressiveness in any way.
Yeah, when we were there, the youth we were solid. You know, when you are in power, you see, that's the two things that the economy people must understand. When you are in power, there are two things that you must do. As party officers, yours was to create a conducive atmosphere for the government to thrive. Do you get what I'm saying? So wherever you hear that there is any intercourse here, you have to quickly move. You have to move and make sure that, look, what is the problem? Solve it and let have it peacefully. You understand? And if not for people like us who understand the game, because me, I will always tell people that I'm the party's product. It is the party that made me who I am today. Because when you look at it, my life from wherever, you could see people know me. I mean, more than 20 years in NDC activities. Not even just at the branch level or at the national level. That is where you could see it from Cape Coast, what have you, and what have you. So we know what we do. And now, what we are lacking in the current generation is that they were not able to learn a lot of organizational work on the ground. They don't know. But the issue is that, let me learn properly. The issue is that, you see, because they were saying that, oh, you haven't make most noise. Let me tell you, the issue is that, look, when you are in power, the opposition attacks government agencies and ministries, and even the presidency. And some of the information that they attack the agencies, for you to even convince a Ghanaian to believe or to for the adequate responses, it has to be the agency's PR that will have to speak. Do you understand what I'm saying? And sometimes to some of the decisions that they took, they are cabinet decisions. You, the youth organizer, you are not there. And that is where the Ministry of Information comes in. So if you look at it, I mean, just observe. I just want to take your mind a bit. Look at Samia when they were in power, when they were in opposition, how loud he was. And when MPP took over power, you saw that he kept quiet. I mean, he was almost what? Quiet. Do you observe? Yes. And then again, you observe when he even became national organizer. People will even say Samia Aku was missing as national organizer. Because at that time, it's not Samia Aku's fault. He may be doing his own work. But it is the opposition versus the government machinery. Do you understand? And so yours was to be able to move it. And when you look at it, look at us when we were in power in 2016. We organized the most, I would say, one of the best organized rallies in Cape Coast. You remember the launching of our manifesto? Yes. Is it 16,000 capacity stadium was full to the brim. And everything went successfully without even any incidents. Do you understand? And this is organization. This is what we call people who can organize. And look, we're moving, many even in our party didn't even believe that we are losing the 2016 election because the organization front was solid. And so we realized all these issues, and I'm telling you that there are other issues that probably if I'm putting myself through, I could tell you thematic areas, because I classify myself that I'm going to work in only 3 thematic areas. Okay, and but
before we come to the thematic areas, you know, as a youth organizer, Mutumi organize a very huge and a nice big rally. But at the end of the game, you lost the election. For your supporters, and they are not interested in how well the party was able to organize the rally, but they were interested in the fact that at the end of the day, my party still wins the power. You did what you were supposed to do as a youth organizer. Went to me and we need power. You know, it's true. With the 2016 election, if you observe, there were many things. That's why I said, look, that is the #1 mistake Ghanaians have made by voting NDC out. The pills, we failed to take the bitter pills and get healed. That was what happened. The issue is that, look, we were solid on the ground, but there are certain things that we must do, government must do, if we really want this nation to move forward. And at that time, John Mama did not miss words with us. He said, look, we are thinking about Ghana. We are not thinking about whether we win elections or not. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so, at that time, he pushed us. He said, look, you people should just hold the front and let's push this. Because, look, we just subscribed. I was voted as National Youth Organizer in December 2014. Yeah. And we started work 2015. And we lost power in 2016. Just what? Only 2 years in power.
And you see, when we're 2 years in power too, the 2 years in power, already, you should remember that there is already a system in place as National Youth Organizer when I came to it. And the system in place too is NDC system. Yes. I could not even come and approve somebody and say, I want to put somebody there, because all of us are NDC. Do you get what I'm saying? And so we did all that. But when we look at it, we also subscribed to the IMF at that time. Remember 2015, do you observe that? And subscribing to the IMF, there were many things that affected the youth wing. Because directly, one, freeze unemployment. Do you remember that? There is no way you can't employ except with the clearance from the Ministry of Finance. And that one too, that clearance has to be what? Properly justified. Okay? And now, who are affected most when there is freeze on unemployment? Is it not the youth? Yes. And to the youth, to them, they believe that they've worked hard for this party to come to power. All that they want was certain what? Little compensation by getting job to do. And now that very job too, we said, look, we are not giving it to you because of IMF conditionality. 2, were they again, they cancelled teachers' training allowances. Who that solution affected? Was it not the youth? And all this thing was happening in 2016. Are you observing? They are the youth that were affected. They cancelled teacher training allowance, nurses training allowances. You understand? All these things came up and hit the youth wing. But that notwithstanding, I tried to make sure that I created the needed environment for the government to have peaceful mind to execute their assignment. Look, under my regime, not a single demonstration from the party. There were few who wanted to even raise their eyes, and quickly, in no minute, I was personally there. You understand? Yapping like this, I think that time there was a little squabble with the youth organizer trying to bend the office or so. Quickly, I call and say, hey, Mr. Easy, what is happening? Please make sure that thing stops immediately. Say, boss, I hear you. I say, quiet immediately. We don't need it at this particular point in time. Because we realize that we cannot go into that election with problems. So we try as much as possible to move in, win the election. Then we can now sit down and complain about all the problems. Because we are where we are because we need to win the election.
Yes, but as at that time, now freeze on employment. As a youth organizer, only say affect you for. So now you knew say this will affect you in the election. Did you by any means to inform your leader say penny actions, and the economic issues, you were likely to lose those votes?
Yeah, it was a decision that is known to all of them. Not every discussion sometimes that we put it out. But His Excellency himself was aware.
So he knew that
in one of the debate, you see, at a point in time, he was even asked a question. You remember? Yes. Then he says, look, if the cancellation of the teacher training allowance and
cause him to lose the election,
he's ready for it, so be it. You remember those? Yes. Because we tout it, but the issue is that I am telling you is the most important policy the country needed at that time. It was a bitter period, but you see, if we had been patient and truly as Ghanaians decide to take that pills, that medicine, I'm telling you that we would have been healed by now. Because we started picking up. It was the gains that John Mahama's IMF, bailout and interventions. That was what MPP came in, and when they came, they got it, they were just doing things haphazardly. And we went back to even worse than where we were before. Do you understand? So there were many things, but I am telling you that there are fantastic policies that we're doing, and that was how come that we too, as officers, we need to support our leader to let him achieve. You understand? We need to stand by him because, you see, a leader must have a vision. And then you, the people who are behind him, must support him to achieve it. And we're ready. We're doing everything. That's why we said, look, despite the challenges, we did all that. But that notwithstanding, I can tell you that when it comes to achievement within the youth wing, I am one of the guys, you see, I don't like comparison. And because each leadership comes with circumstances and also era and time. You understand? And so when you look at it, Pablo came in the era of almost smartphones. So now the challenges we are facing right now with Pablo is how to be able to make good use of this smartphone, this social media, TikTok, whatever, to capture the youth. You understand? You get a point. During Haruna Idris's era, there are also things that we do. Yes. Sometimes we have to go to, what do you call it? We have to go to Maulidi. We have to go. There are certain things.
But during your era,
if you look at it, I can say it's one of the areas that I pumped a lot of resources into the youth. And no national youth organizer has crisscrossed the country than I do. That's why if you observe, when it comes to the party executive structure, I am the lover boy. The guys love you. Sometimes you don't even understand why people love Sidi. Because the person will tell you that Sidi do this thing for me, Sidi do that thing for me, Sidi give me this opportunity, Sidi give me that. Because despite the fact that we were faced with challenges, I try as much as possible to take advantage, to be able to at least push people whom I know and I've come across that they've really sacrificed for this party. I can tell you without missing words, even within the security sector alone, at that time, per my lobby and other things, there were some few recruitments and what have you at the police because of death, exit and what have you. I was able to push on my own accord, like close to 200 people, over 200.
Politician, you are now infiltrating the security service.
No, you see, if you observe...
security service,
if you observe NDC, the rules are clear. We don't joke with the requirements. We don't joke it. When I look at you, you have met all the requirements, you have what it takes to be there, I'll push you. You understand? But when I also look at it, because we had a situation like this, I think at that time, when we were pushing for the leadership should allow us to put our people directly. Sedea Etea stood up and give us an example. He was talking about one of the party security guys who were with us. They wanted to have we wanted them to have some training, just so that they can be more professional. One of them, when he was taken to Bundazi or something, he ran. Only the welcoming exercise, he fell and died. NDC, if there is anything that we are fantastically good at is security. You know that anytime Ghana, NDC is in power, the security of this nation is assured. You notice it. Observe. You see that seriously, they don't threat anybody, but we know how the system moves. Not where you don't need to go and start shouting. Now, look at it, when Vololate took over at a point in time, he says now we have moved where we do confrontational security. Now we do humanitarian security, where you need to even look at the needs of the people in the community and try to resolve them. You understand?
Okay,
so
this
is one
aspect.
The issue, and fantastic. And so the other thing, the other achievement, look, all the 275 constituencies that we have in the country, I am telling you that almost all of them are giving each of them 10 footballs each. Because at that time, there were so many confusion. We need to organize exercise just so that we'll be able to tame the situation on the ground. So I have to even go and raise, issue. Right now, as I'm talking to you, even that one is still in debt. Do you know that? Yes, I couldn't pay. Yes, because we needed to do that. And each of the 275 constituencies, I gave them 2 sets of jerseys. Each of them, I put a trophy, youth trophy for them to play and take it. My brother, on my own accord, not that the party, the party always sometimes, John Mama and the party would just decide to say that, okay, John Mama will raise, let's say, 400 or 500, or the party motorbikes. They say, go and distribute to the stretchers. Me, I, on my own accord, I was able to raise 173. Not through the party. I identify individual, go lobby them like you. I can come to you and talk to you. Look, I need a motorbike. How much can you give me? You can give me 2. You can give me 1. You can give me. I raised 175 on my own accord, and I distributed it. Those ones, they are there. When you talk about the youth, will tell you that it's true. Sidi did that.
The 3 thematic areas now, what the NDC. Then we can look at people are almost some person contest, including the incumbent. What does it think about the incumbent? Onye na eduma year and kwasi yes amane kwan ma ne sato so ekonenimu ana. Ebusen etwan ho aba yeba to aso. Obusan yakwaya ya sen abaye toa enkomo no so. Sidi.
Yeah.
Say you have more opportunity to become the organizer of the NDC. What are you going to do to make sure say 2024 we to win the election?
Yeah, you see, I have observed one thing within the party. One, as soon as I took over as the national organizer of the party, we need to do what we call proper auditing of our branch executives. I mean, we have finished with the election, all right. Okay, we have finished with the branch election, but we need to do proper auditing to make sure that all those people we thought we had elected, they are all in place. Because you see, I have followed NDC activities for a very long time. When it comes to election, people want to just do things just so that they can be able to win the election. They don't care the consequences of thereafter. They only think about what is in front of them. Okay, if I should even go and get this ghost name and put in, this ghost name will vote for me. And once I become the secretary or the chairman of the constituency, I'm good to go. So, fine, they have finished with whatever and they are elected as constituency executives. I don't have a problem with that. But now to win the election, we need to really make sure that we clear the branches of any ghost in the list. And so when we do that, what we're going to do is that the first thematic area has to do, one, establishing a solid system for resource coalition. And establishing a solid system for resource coalition, look, we can't import anybody anywhere to give you resources. You have to use the local people you have on the ground to get the resources. Is
it because MPP for catch them say even in 2020 you couldn't collect your resources in Tiana?
The issue is that, you see, what they do is that the MPP system is that you could see clearly what happened in 2020 election. Even the EC officials were working for the MPP.
Yeah, but was the NDC able to collect its own results?
No, we were able to do substantially. We were able to do it because what happened was that there were places where we cannot even see the what do you call the pinches. Okay, they've taken it away because they have to give our agents money and take it away. And now when you ask them, when you ask on the ground, why that thing happened, you hardly find who is even the person who took the money and who ran away. Because we failed to assign responsibility. There are some problems that we have. For instance, you see, in NDC, when we are going for elections, sometimes we want to rely on the parliamentary candidate to identify polling agents for the elections. Because, and when you allow the parliamentary candidate to do, it's good, all right. But the one for the presidential, I want the party to take responsibility of it. And when I talk about the party responsibility, the responsibility should be taken by the organization department of the party. And the organization department of the party is made up at the national level, the national organizer and your two deputies, the national youth organizer and the two deputies, the national women organizer and the deputies. These are the organization department. And plus Zongo caucus. Okay? Then when you go to the region, similar structure, except that the deputies are what? Youth wing is two. Yeah. I mean, and when it gets to the constituency, the same organization structure made up of, but the chairman will supervise, okay? The chairman will supervise, the secretary will make sure that writing is done. But the sole responsibility when there is a failure, we know that we are going after the organization department, which is going to be headed by the organizer, either at the constituency level, regional or national. They would make sure that, look, the three people are the key people who will be to make sure that they are the return officers for the presidential. Because wherever and when we don't even account for a single pink sheet, we are going after them. You understand? Okay. And that is where I'm talking about responsibility. And we are going to use local people, and we are able to establish in all polling stations our 9999 executives. Where we don't have, let us be honest, because that's why I told you that we want to audit. If we audit, we'll realize where there are shortfalls. Yeah. If we have to bring in, we'll bring in. If we don't have to, fine. Then we have to find a way of making sure that we get the right results from that polling station. We are not saying that we are there to win every polling station, but we want the true reflection of the results to happen. That is with the results, because you need to get people to take responsibility. Because mostly when you take the parliamentary candidates and they move in there, and they start counting the presidential, the parliamentary. Yes. As soon as they declare the parliamentary, because it's the MP who brought you, you are debating, yeah, we have won. You left. You left the presidential, mostly. So whatever the EC, because that is already the EC official being appointed by Jim Mensah and the MPP. That is why they can do their own mathematics, add what they figure, because you are business jubilating for the parliamentary, yet they are working for the presidential. Okay. So that is why I'm saying we are going to establish a solid and a robust system for resource coalition. And again, even I will not just, when we finish, we need to organize simulation exercise. You know, in the military setup, even if they are going to deploy you to war or conflict zones, sometimes they have to take you for simulation exercise at Bundazi. They know, they train you how to shoot a gun, they train you. But there are some people who have been into the military, they have never even slept outside before. They've been sleeping on a mattress. Now you are going to take the person to go and be sleeping on trees, to be sleeping on the floor. You need to let him see the terrain first. And so what we're going to do, we'll organize simulation exercise and see if we are going to collect the resource manually in a constituency, how many hours will it take us to do such a thing, exercise? And then if we are going to collect it electronically, how? Because we must have plan A, plan B, plan C. When we go with a single plan A, always our opponent will always go after us.
Sidi, you have your incumbent organizer. Obi to say Solomon Cancer, so no, contested.
You see, if you could even leave me to finish with my thematic areas, all the three.
Okay, so this is the first one now.
This is just the first one on resource coalition.
So the second one will be what?
Even the resource coalition, you know, with MPP, what they do is that, look, MPP always go to election with the mindset of trying to rig an election. They don't wait for Ghanaians to vote for them. They are looking for shortcuts. And so that is why I said we are going to identify solid, and that is where I'm introducing the second thematic area.
The MPP will say that establishing you rig election. You are also saying that they rig election.
No.
So among the two of you, one a rig election.
No. We want the free and fair election to happen. That is what NDC stands for. We always know that if there will be free, fair, and transparent election, Ghanaians will always vote for the NDC.
Tiabuja, ebeda sisa onya da je na hwe, Nyankopon ya adom adase na yebesa tenase na yedi nkomo.